Hello learners, in this course we will learn about various art forms of India. Today we are going to look into the history and appreciation of art from 3000 BC to 600 AD. This is our first lesson of the painting. We will learn about the art forms focusing on from 3000 BC to 600 AD. Looking into the history from the Indus Valley civilization, which is 2500 BCE to 1750 BCE, to the Mauryan dynasty, Indian art underwent gradual development, and the artists of the Harappan period demonstrated sophisticated craftsmanship. During the Mauryan period marked a very significant turning point in the Indian art, exemplified by the highly polished Ashokan pillars, which are considered to be the treasure of Indian heritage. Alongside these refined styles, folk traditions also persisted, such as the terracotta mother goddess figures. Following the Mauryas, the Shungas maintained artistic production, producing a significant works like Great Stupa at Sanchi. The Kushanas of the Central Asian origin contributed notably to the portraiture and sculpture. The Gupta period, which lasted between 4th to 6th century CE, often referred to as the golden age of Indian art, which brought the refinement in human representation, which can be seen in the centers like Mathura, Sarnath, Ujjain and Aichitra. Gupta sculptures blended technical mastery with spiritual subtlety, a hallmark of classical Indian aesthetics. In this period, we also get to see the flourishing of Ajanta caves painting and which advancements in the temple architectures at Udaygiri, Nachna and Bhumara. Thus, we can say that Gupta period stands as a classical epoch in the Indian art history. Along with religious art, a significant number of secular sculptures were also produced. The famous Ajanta paintings were created during this period. Besides paintings and sculptures, a major development in art was the emergence of cave and temple architecture. Some of the important sites in this regard are the Udaygiri caves in Madhya Pradesh, as well as Nachna and Bhumara, where temples and temple architecture began to develop. In a nutshell, we can be said that the Gupta period represents the classical era of Indian history. Looking into this particular lesson, you will be able to provide a concise overview of the artistic developments between 3000 to 600 CE, and you will also be able to list the key art objects associated with this period, and you will analyze and distinguish the materials, sites, dimensions and colors and current locations of the art objects. And you will also be able to identify and name the major art objects from this historical time frame. Here is the first example from this lesson, which is Dancing Girl. The Dancing Girl is a remarkable bronze sculpture from Indus Valley civilization. discovered at Mohenjo-daro and dated to around 2500 BCE. And this small yet iconic figure is a widely regarded as the finest example of the artistic and the technical sophistication achieved by the artisans. And this is one of the world's earliest urban cultures. Standing at approximately 10.5 centimeters, which is 4 inches tall, the dancing girl exhibits both artistic refinement and metallurgical expertise, particularly in the lost wax casting techniques used to produce it. The figure is slender with the elongated limbs and a sinuous rhythmic posture that conveys a sense of movement and youthful vitality. Despite the figure being nude, her left arm is adorned with a series of bangles reaching almost to the shoulder. This adornment style is notably similar to ornaments worn by certain tribal communities in modern day Gujarat and Rajasthan, suggesting a possible continuity in cultural expression. The hairstyle in this particular sculpture is another important aspect. Unlike the elaborate and stylized headdress seen on the terracotta mother goddess figurines, which is from the same period. These figures were her hair tied back in a simple bun, giving her an unexpectedly contemporary appearance. And her pose is relaxed yet confident. The right hand rests on her hip while the left hand touches her thigh, suggesting self-assurance and poise. The posture is naturalistic and evocative, reinforcing the impression that the artist understood both anatomy and gesture. The precision of the casting and the balanced proportions reveal the technical mastery of the Indus Valley metallurgists. Despite its small size, the sculpture possesses a remarkable monumentality, a visual power and presence that makes it seem larger than it is. This effect of implied scale is a hallmark of great sculptural art. What makes the dancing girl truly unique is the successful integration of realistic form and stylized elegance, and also the symbolic vitality. It stands as a testament to the aesthetic sensibilities and craftsmanship of the Indus Valley civilization, offering profound insights into its social life, artistic conventions and technological achievements. Here comes the second example, which is Rampurva Pul capital. During the reign of Emperor Ashoka, inscriptions conveying these edicts and the teachings of Lord Buddha were engraved on pillars, rock surfaces and tablets across the Indian subcontinent. These Ashokan pillars have been discovered in various regions of India, with the notable exceptions of the far south. Each pillar typically consists of three parts: a base, a long monolithic shaft and a capital, which is the decorative at the topmost section. The capital often features a stylized inverted lotus base, a circular abacus, which is like disc-like element, and one or more animal figures which symbolized various virtues or directional guardians. For example, you can see the lion, bull, cap and elephant. Among these, the Rampurva bull capital is considered one of the finest examples of Mauryan art. Named after the site Rampurva, this which was located in present day Bihar. This capital is composed of a bell shaped lotus forming the lower base, a decorated abacus adorned with stylized plant motif, and a lifelike representation of a majestic bull seated atop. Scholars have noted that the decorative motifs around the abacus include the palmlets and rosettes, suggest artistic influences from the Achaemenid and Hellenistic traditions, which is Persian and post-Greek, likely transmitted via contact routes during the Mauryan period. These motifs are intricately carved with great precisions, reflects both technical skill and aesthetic sophistication. Here we take a small break. Welcome back, learners. We were discussing about Rampurva Bull capital. Let's recapitulate a little, which was named after the Rampurva, which is located in present day Bihar. This capital is composed of a bell-shaped lotus forming the lower base, which is decorated with abacus adorned with stylized plant motifs and a lifelike representation of majestic bull seated at top. Scholars have noted that the decorative motifs around the abacus, including the palmlet and rosettes, which suggests artistic influences from Persian and post-Greek traditions, likely transmitted via contact routes during Mauryan period. These motifs are intricately carved with great precision, reflecting both technical skill and aesthetic sophistication. The bull figures, through the somewhat simplified, which conveys immense strength, weight and vitality. The sculpture's success lies in capturing the animal's physical power and dignified presence with minimalistic yet confident modeling. The juxtaposition of the richly ornamented lotus and abacus with the relatively plain yet powerful bull creates a striking visual contrast. A distinctive feature of this and other Mauryan sculptures is their mirror-like polish, often referred to as Mauryan polish, which gives the stone a gleaming surface. Scholars have debated its origin, with some suggesting that the technique may have been influenced by Middle Eastern polishing methods, although it was perfected by Indian artisans. The Rampurva Bull capital not only exemplifies the technical mastery of Mauryan sculptors but also reflects the synthesis of indigenous and foreign artistic traditions, marking a high point in early Indian monumental art. Here comes the third example, which is Black Princess. This particular painting is from Ajanta caves. The Ajanta caves, which are located near the village of Ajanta in Aurangabad district of Maharashtra, which are among the most significant monuments of ancient Indian art. These 30 caves, including several unfinished ones, were excavated into a horseshoe shaped cliff along the Vora river between 2nd century BCE and 6th century CE. The caves are primarily divided into two categories: Chaityagrihas, which are prayer halls, and Viharas, which are monastic residences. The Ajanta paintings were executed in two main phases. First one is the Hinayana phase, which is from 2nd century CE. In this, the Buddha was depicted through the aniconic symbols such as Bodhi tree, empty throne or footprints, a tree, etc. Second comes the Mahayana phase, which is between 5th to 6th century CE. Mainly during the reign of Vakataka king Harisena, where the Buddha and Bodhisattvas were portrayed in human form with elaborate narrative context. Here, the painting technique Contrary to earlier beliefs, the Ajanta paintings are not frescoes in the true sense. Fresco involves applying pigments mixed with the water onto wet plaster, allowing the color to bind chemically with the walls. Instead, Ajanta artists use the technique called tempera, where the natural pigments were mixed with the organic binder such as gum or the animal glue, etc., and applied over a dry plaster base. Despite the fragility of this technique, the colors have withstood the test of time, retaining a surprising vibrancy. Coming to the painting, The Black Princess, this painting referred as Black Princess, which is considered one of the most exquisite example of Ajanta murals. Though partially damaged, it showcases the artistic fineness and emotional subtlety that characterize Ajanta's best works. The figure is often identified as a royal woman or a celestial being, called as Apsara or Bodhisattva consort, rendered with a graceful posture featuring a delicate tilt of the head and elegantly contoured facial features with a finely carved almond shaped eyes and soft lips. The lyrical quality of the composition, with the gentle curves of the body and subtle bendings of the neck, imparts a sense of divinity and serenity. The free flowing lines, mastery over the brushwork, and sensitivity to form and emotions demonstrate the extraordinary control of the artist. Despite the religious themes, the Ajanta murals reflect a deep humanism. They not only narrate Jataka tales and Buddhist lore, but also refer a window into the social life, fashion, and emotional range of the period. The Black Princess epitomizes this fusion of devotion and artistic imagination. The color palette is earthy and subdued, avoiding any harsh or loud tones, enhancing the painting's meditative and graceful appeal. With this information, here we end it now. Thank you, learners. Hope you have enjoyed the information and details around the history and appreciation of art. Thank you.